are back. The time is now.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
One and all, for myself, the Geordie Yam Yam, aka Gary, and also we've got Derek, the Mighty Win, alongside me, my right-hand man as always. Again, we've got a show. We're going to have a look at the Brighton versus Newcastle game of the weekend. We've also got some funnies that we're going to bring that my mate here has set up. Again, there's some information out there that we're going to go through as well. A bit of a shorter program probably today, as it's my son's birthday, so I've got lots to set up and organise, but we'll do our best to cram as much in to the program as we possibly can. There is also the sixth substitution Premier League for all the European top clubs that apparently was discussed behind the scenes, which I think we should include maybe next week in a show on its own, because there's quite a lot to discuss on that one. And I think that will probably be we've just been having a quick chat behind the scenes there. And I think that could be, like I say, a show that will debate quite a few, maybe put a panel together and discuss it with a panel's view. I think that'll probably be a good one for that one. So before we get into today's show, let's do the housework and then we'll crack on. So again, welcome to everybody watching across all of the platforms. You're more than welcome for me and the mighty to be with you today. Thanks to all the mods that work in the background. Don't forget, there's people out there in the viewer land to smash that like button. It helps us massively as a channel to get further afield. Subscribe, it's totally free. And if you can do one thing today, subscribe and hit that bell, because you do get notifications 30 minutes before we go live. This show's never edited. What you hear is what you get. May not always be right, but you get it anyway. If you want to help us,
be what you want to hear.
Absolutely. If you want to help us grow, you can become a member. There's only one level now, I believe. Chris has taken the other one out because it was causing lots of confusion. If you've got a question for me or the mighty, then put a Q in front of it, highlight it, do whatever you can so we can see it in the chat, because like I say, there's certainly lots of chat going on these days and we can't always see everything. So if you do something different, italics, whatever, it gives us a chance to have a look. But apologies if we don't mention you. Like I say,
don't everybody put capitals?
Yeah, I'm going to say,
out.
That's right, exactly. Do something different. I say a Q in front of it is usual, the obvious one. If we don't get to you, and you want to guarantee your message read out, because I've seen quite a few people disgruntled in the background when we don't mention your chats, then throw us a quid, a $1.99 super chat. That's all it needs. Like I say, if your message is that important to you, throw us some support. Throw us the Talk TV super chat, and that'll guarantee that message read out. And anybody that becomes a member, or any of our lovely members that gift them out there, will also be highlighted and thanked as we go. How are we this Thursday afternoon?
Well, I'm just trying. It's a miserable day here. I don't know what it's like down there, but it's miserable out here. And I'm just I'm looking at my screen. I think I might have to draw the blinds and put the lights on, because
you're a bit dull.
As you say, it's a bit dull.
Yeah, you've only got a little bit of light coming on the one side of you.
Yeah, give me 30 seconds and I'll be back.
You're going to be. He's going to go and do all his bits and pieces. So I hope everybody out there in the chat is having a great morning. Trolls, Shane, thank you so much. Shane's got a question. What was this one? Where has the 250 million to spend come from? How do we know how much the kit is going forward? Well, mate, that's a good question. And I always look at these type of questions, and I think it's journalism at its best, if I'm honest with you. I mean, if you think about the way the journalisms work, it's more a fact that they want to get as many hits on their webpage as they possibly can. So they're going to put a number in there. I mean, the man with the figures is sitting next to me, right? He obviously has that mechanical brain set when it comes to numbers. Question from Shane. Where does the 250 million come from?
the £250 million war chest is, bear in mind that we've been sailing very, very close to the line for a good few years now. But we had, again, we won't see the full results until January and the accounts are published. But by all accounts, Darren Eales, in his leaving statement when he left the club, said that revenue was now, his words, north of 400 mil. So we've gone from whatever it was, 180 or something gross when the takeover happened, to north of 400 million. But that hasn't happened in one. It's not as though we've went from one to the other. So whilst we got into the financial bother when we had to sell Elliot Anderson, etc., whilst revenue was around about the 250 mark. So straight away, and that's all now in the background. You know, all of those years of austerity are now behind us. So we're now on an even footing with everybody else. We've got this additional revenue now. We've got the additional Champions League money, even though we haven't received that yet. That can be planned as being part of the pot that we've got to spend, because we know roughly how much we know at least how much money it's going to be.
Well, even if you don't get through to the next round, you've got a pot
even if you don't get through, and even if you lose every game, so you're not getting the extra millions that those points give you. We know what the minimum of that is, and we know we've got an additional whatever £100 million thing. And on top of that, bearing in mind we were bought Isaac without dipping into the players that we bought, the money was already there for. So we've got that additional 100, effectively we've got the additional 100, say 100 million revenue, plus the additional Champions League money, plus the 100 million, which the clear 100 million, we've got 130, but what was left to be amortized, etc., etc., etc. And we've got Isaac's wages off the books as well. So when you add all of that together, you're coming up to a figure which is around about the £250,000, which Ross Wilson has now talked about as the war chest. That's not something that's going to be spent in one fell swoop, I don't think, and I don't think it should. You know, you've got to always keep a bit by for a rainy day.
I say we've also got like the Isaac money that's still going to be dwindling somewhere, because you know a lot of what we've already bought so far is going to be amortized across the length of their contracts anyway.
That's what I've just said. We've got the additional 100 million revenue. The 100 million nearest damn clear from Isaac, and the additional Champions League money. And when you add all that together, that's where this figure.
That's where they get the 250. But like I say, I still
coming from.
Yeah, I still think there's, like I say, they always going to go.
And then you've still got 3 years at 35 million that you're allowed to overspend.
I still think
that's all dropped out.
Yeah, I still think there's probably a little bit that you know, for me, the 35. I think clubs are stepping away from that now, simply because PSR, according to all the rumours, won't be here. So I know they've still got to take it on board because of the anchoring system that we've already had a look at, which has been obviously talked about, and that apparently is being proposed in the next international break in November. So we'll get more information as that goes by. As we speak, I am getting lots of reports, as always, from our roaming reporter, Connor, this morning. I've just had an interesting one come through, and this has come. I mean, bless him, he's doing 5 players we are targeted in January. This goes on with what Shane was talking about, the 250 war chest, and I'm trying to get the 5 players. So Kobe Mainu, he's obviously top of the list. Elliot Anderson, he's also on there. Josh King, Mark Gay, and Igor Thiago. Them are the 5 players, according to the Chronicle, being reported that we are looking at. Some interesting names there. None but Elliot Anderson, which, like I say, wouldn't surprise me. I was going to ask you, right? We know Elliot Anderson is black and white through and through. I could never see him, though, if I'm honest with you, doing an Isaac, a Wissa type player where he downs tools if somebody's interested. Yeah. So he's at Forest. I can't see that attitude coming from Elliot Anderson. If Newcastle come knocking at the door.
I can't see it either.
I think he's a different.
That
different
doesn't
player.
particularly bother me. I mean, that pleases me in a way. But I'm not looking. Well, I think I've said before, I'm not looking at getting Elliot Anderson tomorrow or in January, or maybe even in the summer. If that means that we were to miss out on him, and let's talk now about Pep being interested in him. So, it might mean we'll have to go and get him from Man City.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome everybody in the chat, guys. Like I say, there's lots of highs and everything else. I can't go through everybody, but I'm just going to say welcome from me and him.
Welcome, one and all. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like. That's the best thing you can do.
So Shane's coming with another question, and it's no point in moving on until we answer all these questions that are coming in about the monies. So here we go. Here's the next one. So, Win, are you saying, as PSR reset in the summer, if we make 400 million for the next 3 seasons, that's 1.2 billion minus, say, 200 million per season in wages. That's 600 million to spend.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, you can argue, the way I argue it is that by and large, all of your television money and Premier League money, which is currently, I think we've got 165 last year with all of our facility rates and everything. I think we were fifth biggest earners last season, if memory serves me right. Then you
something
get your,
like that, was it? Fifth or sixth, wasn't it?
Your merit payments for where you finish and all that. But the way the new rules are going to work is whatever the bottom team gets, and that was 110 million, I think, last year for Southampton. It's 5 times that is your maximum, 5.5 times. That again, they haven't decided on the exact multiple that's going to be used, but the figure being bandied about is 5.5 times that. So every single club is restricted to spending 550 million on transfers, agents' fees, and player wages, player salaries. So yes, you're saying it. Not every club is going to be able to spend that. They won't have the revenue to be able to do that. But we certainly would with our revenue now. And by the way, you can only see that revenue continuing to grow. Whereas I believe that the top clubs have by and large reached their ceiling.
Yeah.
There's not a lot more money. There's no kit sponsor going to come and bust the £100 million a season that City are getting now off Puma. That's £1 billion contract. Having said that, we've said that about football finances for
years now.
decades.
Yeah.
Surely, when Shearer
The
went
bubble will
for
burst
50
somewhere. Yeah.
when Shearer went for, when the first £1 million transfer
Well, yeah,
happened,
Trevor Francis. Yeah, exactly.
uh,
It'll never happen again. That's what everybody said, wasn't it?
That's right, and it was the same at $500,000. It was the same at 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they're just blowing those figures out of the water now. When we were the biggest spenders in the league in the entertainers era, John Hall era, it was unusual for players to go above kind of 2 million.
Yeah.
And we spent, we bought like 5 players for 3 million plus, which was much, much more than anybody else was buying, apart from Man United at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
It does keep on going and going and going.
well, when you think, right, the Premier League, as it stands, has spent more money than the other top 5 leagues in Europe combined. So that just shows you, for me, where the money is and where all these sponsors and everything else are going to want to lay their bed. It's not going to be anywhere else. Even, as daft it looks, we are now competing, if you like, and I know, there's going to be individuals out there that scream and shout down the mic at me now. Way, here we go. When you look at this, the individual sides, your typical Italian sides, your Juves, the big name boys in Spain, the Barças, the Madrids, and it's the same in Germany, the Munichs. Apart from that, the sponsors haven't got a lot to niche on. Where you come to the Premier League and, you've got a number of clubs all vying for them top spaces now. So there's a lot more opportunity to go in and lay your bet, if you like, on one of the clubs that are predicting to be a top 6 earner. So for me,
I've had this argument, haven't I, with Chris about Ipswich Town.
Now, which argument was that?
Let's say Burnley.
Yeah.
It is not madness for a big international brand, whilst Burnley are in the Premiership. Obviously, it would be massively, massively curtailed in the event of a relegation. But whilst Burnley are in the Premiership, you can argue that there's nowhere near the amount of people worldwide who want to watch Burnley as do Man United. Perfectly true.
Yeah.
However, Burnley play Manchester United twice a year. They play Chelsea twice a year. They play all of these big clubs who are getting massive sponsorship twice a year. And when they're on the football pitch, the name that's on their shirt is getting exactly the same exposure as the name on the Man City shirt, the Chelsea shirt, for 90 minutes plus on every screen in the world. It might be little old Burnley, so obviously there's a cachet attached to being with a successful team as opposed to a team that's getting trashed every week. Nonetheless, advertising is all, 90% of advertising is exposure. Getting your name where you want it to be seen. So It is not crazy at all for me to suggest that Ipswich Town, for example, were doing themselves down by taking £8 million off Ed Sheeran for to sponsor his 2024 tour, whatever it was. The XYZ plus minus nonsense. It's not stupid at all that, let's say, I don't know, Honda Motor Company could pay Ipswich £30 million a year to have Honda on their shirts. Because much as, Man United had Jeep on their shirts, so everybody around the world has seen the Jeep emblem. So Everybody around the world is seeing that Honda brand around the world, and that is what advertising is all about.
Trolls has come in with one here. Look, the rule for sponsors should be that all clubs should be able to get the same amount of money as the Ugly Six. In my
That's
opinion,
exactly what this is.
this is where it's going,
Yeah.
though, isn't it? With the capping side of things, they're trying to make it an even keel across the board, so everybody has the same opportunity, if you like, to play with the same
To
type of
spend.
figures. Absolutely, but the problem is like I say, you're always going to have teams, commercially different to the ones that are yo-yoing clubs. Now, we've been a yo-yo club for years, and it's only been since the takeover that we seem to have steadied the ship a little bit.
In modern times, yeah.
In modern times, yeah, absolutely. So we've been on that other side. We've been the Burnleys. We've been these other teams where sponsors are hard to get to when you're looking at the credibility side of things, because and that's what I said. When you go into Europe, there's only a small selection of teams that any big sponsor can go to, and then it becomes a bit of a monopoly. It's a bidding war, isn't it?
It is.
And it's how much you're willing to put forward to get your name on those specific shirts. It's totally different in the Premier League, because there's a number of teams that would be more than happy to display that, sponsor blazed across the chest for the right type of money, obviously. But I think, like I say, for me, I think the Premier League's going to grow. Now, on the adage to that is obviously what we saw yesterday when we were talking about the capping scenario, and where people are saying, or especially the Big Six are saying, that's going to close the Premier League down. I think it's going to make the Premier League more competitive, if I'm honest with you. And I think it's great for that.
But what you cannot do, in my opinion, I think the Premier League is going to be committing suicide if it prevents our top clubs being able to outbid foreign leagues in salaries and stuff for the players. Now, UEFA have kind of got that under control in terms of the 70% of revenue for players' salaries, da-di-da-di-da. So, because none of the, with the exception of the big sort of, the massive 4 or 5 that you've mentioned, and you've got to bring PSG into that equation as well.
Yeah.
But apart from them, nobody has got the revenue generation which Premier League clubs have got, and that's by and large from the television money. Now, we're getting into a deep dive here, but right now, Sky, who are the major contributors to the television money, are struggling like Billy-O to keep their head above water because of the rise of, let's be frank, illegal streaming services that are now available, and they're finding it increasingly difficult. It's like any criminal venture. The criminals always have more money than the police force. The drug barons, the reason that I believe the war on drugs is almost unwinnable is because the money that the criminals can make from drugs outweighs the money that the police can spend combating it.
Yeah.
Similarly, the brainy boffins that Sky can afford to pay to combat the piracy, there's so much money now being made from illegal streaming that they can afford to pay, bribe, whatever, these boffins so that whatever measures Sky try to put in place to block streams, and I've heard many tales now of folk who've had these streaming services and all of a sudden they stop working. That's because Sky and the other major broadcasters, Netflix, etc., are trying to, by hook or by crook, prevent these illegal streams being aired. But there's always ways around it. There's always somebody smarter than the smartest boffin. And who gets that person? The person who can pay the most.
Post them, absolutely.
And so it goes on, So again, this is why I believe, we're talking long term here, because they've just signed a new, 4-year deal. I don't think Sky will be able to pay what they've paid for this contract come the next contract. Because the Sky subscriptions, Netflix subscriptions are plummeting because of all the illegal streams. So what? And the reason is simple. It's cost. What Sky do not have the ability to do is to contact, and you wonder why, because. Let's get a little bit political here.
Oh no!
The Tory tax, the argument that the Tories put forward is that if you reduce tax levels, more people are prepared to pay it. If you increase tax levels, entrepreneurs leave the country or find tax loopholes to get round it, and it's been proven historically that when you reduce taxes, the actual revenue take increases, and this to me is maybe a trick that Sky haven't chanced yet. Which is to say, instead of being the ridiculous amounts of money that Sky Sport costs now, because you're paying for stuff you don't need, if they did a dedicated Newcastle United only, so you're guaranteed to get every Newcastle United match legitimately on Sky for, let's say, £200 a season. Or make it monthly, but £15. Would it be £15? Say £20 a month. £20 a month. For £20 a month, you can get every bit of Newcastle United coverage for £20 a month. How many people would pay that? In millions more, and a lot more than are paying currently the £100 and odd a month. People simply can't afford it. But if you said to Newcastle supporters, £20 a month, now then, you can argue that then the illegal streamers would still be cheaper. But would they be that much cheaper? Would they be as reliable? Would you be able to record it? Would you be able to tape it? Would you be able to look back on it? All of the features that you get on Sky that you don't get with the illegal streams. And would people be prepared to pay it? Absolutely they would. I am certain that they would. But it's a leap of faith that Sky would have to take.
Yeah,
and by the way, it would take time for it to build up that membership, for want of a better expression.
Yeah, it's
personally, I would like to see the Premier League beat them to the punch.
Yeah,
and just take it all exactly the same as the NFL and the NBA do in America. Have their own television company, and again, you get it for, reasonable money.
Yeah.
Not stupid money.
Another question came in, which was an interesting one, actually, from Shane. what is the visa deal worth to us?
Haven't seen. I've scoured everywhere to try and find out what it's worth, and I cannot find it anywhere.
Well, it's an interesting one because I saw the article where this comes from, and if you, I mean, this is from. Bear with me a second. It's the World Today Journal. And apparently, according to what these guys have been informed, it's more a strategic partnership to ignite fan engagement. And, you know, you read through the BS, if you like, and a lot of it is a case of like people that have got a Visa card get like extra, if you like, perks. And I'm going to say perks in speech marks because, like I say, apart from a couple of things, like the core of the partnership revolves around delivering tangible value to fans. Visa users in Saudi Arabia will gain access to a suite of exclusive promotions, including VIP match day experiences, so immersive access to games at St James's Park, going beyond a standard ticket to include premium seating and hospitality. Player and legend interactions, opportunities to meet the greats of the yesterday with current Newcastle United stars and iconic club legends. Yeah, behind the scene tours, official club merchandise. You know, so what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it more of a global thing where people carrying a Visa card will have that opportunity to have a little bit more exclusive content when it comes to it. So again, it's a partnership that financially won't be money up front, but in the long term, I think it could be a strategic way of getting fans from outside of the UK more involved. And I think that's the way I read into it. Again, I don't know how true that is, but like I say, there's it is a growing phenomenon when you think about Saudi Arabia fan base, right? And I know this sounds crazy, but according to the figures that these guys are putting out, the timing of this partnership is now coincident. Newcastle United has witnessed a remarkable growth in its Saudi Arabian fan base. Official club data reveals a double-digit percentage increase in fan engagement year over year. Furthermore, digital interaction within the region has exploded, growing by over 20% annually over the last 2 seasons. This surge in popularity is directly linked to the club's increasing visibility and success following the PIF acquisition. The investment has not only elevated the team's performance on the pitch, but has also fueled a broader narrative of ambition and progress, resonating deeply with fans in Saudi Arabia and across the Middle East. The partnership with Visa is a natural extension of that momentum, designed to capitalise on growing enthusiasm and solidify Newcastle United's position as a leading force in global football. So there you go. That is virtually what it more or less is. It's looking at the bigger picture, if you like. So cash is nothing. It's not there. But what they're looking to do is try and improve the global recognition of fans, if you like. And when you've got a fan who's neutral, who just likes to watch football, that carries a Visa card, if they're going to get perks more looking at a Newcastle game because they carry a Visa card anyway, it probably pulls them closer to supporting the club overall when you look at it from that point of view. So, I mean, like I say, you're not going to see a cash injection, but you'll see more of a global fan base. That's how I look at it. So then you're looking at merchandise will probably grow and knock on. And I think that is more of the effect. Is that how you read into that?
I would like to see a list of what these perks are. You know, it's just all very nebulous at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. That's what I said. There's nothing like.
There's nothing you've said there that blows me frock up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though it's like I said. You know, when you look at Visa and you think, oh, that's a big brand, and straight away, I mean, I was on the same as yourself when you said you'd looked around. I was exactly the same. How many digits is that going to make us?
Exactly.
Then all of a sudden, I'm thinking, well, that isn't actual fact, that's not a sponsorship at all. It's like a recognition that we are in partnership, if you like, with Visa. So I think what it does is give both parties the opportunity to sell their individual products, if I'm honest with you. It's as much for Visa as it is for Newcastle. You know what I mean? Because all they're doing is they're tying a Newcastle emblem to the Visa card. So, like I said, for me, it's not one or t'other. According to Connor,
Show me the money, honey. That's what I say.
Well, I think that is what everybody's looking for, mate. To be fair, perks, according to what Connor's just sent me again, will include the VIP trips to St James's Park, the meet and greet of players, club legends, as I've just said, behind the scenes access. The partnership builds on the club's growing presence in the region, which has seen a global broadcast reach increased by 66% since the 21-22 season. The second highest growth among top European clubs. There you go. So I think, like I say, I think Visa saw an opportunity and they've taken it. You know?
Well, yeah, they've seen an opportunity maybe to grow in Saudi Arabia. But let's be honest, Saudi Arabia, if you include the whole peninsula, you're looking at a population less than 50 mil.
50, yeah, exactly. It's not masses.
But not like, if you could get into sort of Egypt's 100 million, Iran 80 million, Turkey 83 million, but they've got their own league. And,
exactly.
and of course, Saudi are looking to
be big.
They want to be
they want to compete with the Premier League, mate. Yeah, exactly. I can't see it ever happening, but I mean, like I say, it's like slapping a bird's bottom, as it's just said there. The Visa deal sounds like it's a sizzle and no sausage. I love it. Yeah, that is exactly what it feels like. And like I said, when you realise there isn't much out there, when you just said, you've searched high and low, there isn't a lot out there that gives you any information, to be fair, apart from what I've just discussed. It's like I say, it's a partnership where it's as good for them as it is for Newcastle. But if we can grow the fan base globally by an extra 25, 30%, and that increases the merchandise by the same numbers, then that's a win for Newcastle anyway. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. So I certainly wouldn't cut my nose off to spite my face and said that doesn't benefit Newcastle whatsoever, because it will do, but it may not benefit Newcastle with the cash injection we all think sponsorship gives us, and especially when you look at how big Visa are. And just having a quick look, lots of talk about Park Song-soo's brilliant pass yesterday. Sky Sports had it very briefly up on the screen, and then they took it down for some unknown reason. I'm not sure why. But I've watched it several times now, and I was expecting something a little bit out of the ordinary. But to be fair, it was quite ordinary. I mean, it wasn't a worldie in by any shadow of doubt. But I mean, it got us the equaliser deep in injury time, 93rd minute, and then obviously Newcastle lads went on to win on penalties, 5-3 in the end. Have you got it here? Are you going to put it up?
I've got it there. 2 seconds.
Yeah, if you want to have a look at it, like I say, for those that haven't watched it, we'll throw it up, because he's snipped and clipped and done his magic, so there's no copyrights apparently. So, but like I said, I wasn't enamored by it. I wasn't disappointed either. I mean, like I say, it got us the equaliser. But when you start reading all of the ink that comes with it, it's like, what? I was expecting something out of this world, and it was just a side foot.
What's this? Wait a minute. Let me.
Have you got it?
I've lost me dashboard.
Oh,
there you are. There we've got it now. So I'll go back to that and go. Which one is it? Is it that one? That's the one. So I'm sure not there now. That's Neve. Can you see that?
I can't see anything. No, you haven't put it up on the screen. If you put it up, if you go on to have a look at the editor screen there and throw it on something like that one, and you add it. Yeah, there you go. We'll just go. I'll put it back. Just take it back now. There you go. I'll put it across. This is it. This is the pass that everybody was. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good vision and everything else, but
no. When 2 seconds, let me.
He's just chopped it across his foot, hasn't he? And like I say, the goal came from a deflection at the end of the day. But I'm not going to knock it because, like I say, he did okay. And that's what it's all about. Like I say, he got the vision to pass it, but it certainly wasn't as good as I expected it to.
Wait, I'm going to show you how good I think it was.
Go on, then.
Now, I'll put that back up. There we go. So, if we go back to the start now. So that's that. This is Neve doing very well there. Beats that man, gets the ball, looks up, comes inside, sees, and Sung gets the ball there. Now, if you look here, obviously the fullback here is going across to Sung. This guy here is watching Neve. And at the minute, there's no danger there. But just watch the move. See him coming through there now? Watch how quick he gets from there to there. Sung jockeys, but he sees him running through. And the guy originally just, he's saying there's no danger, no danger. He's not looking at all what's going on behind him there. And when Sung then does see him going through there now with nobody alongside him, and it's a fabulous little dink. Look at that. He's looking at that. He's thinking, oh, well, that's going out. This defender is thinking no danger so he doesn't bother moving because he says it's going out. But he doesn't see the bend on the ball. And the pace, look, did you see? So wait till Sue turns around.
But he wouldn't have scored if it wasn't deflected.
I don't know. I mean, you can argue the keeper should never get beaten there on his.
But that's what I said. It was he was looking to go square across the park, across the 6-yard box, and it's the deflection that takes it past the keeper. But like I said, I'm not going to. Yeah, well, you can see it, especially on that on the close up. The thing for me, you've got to give credit where credit's due, and the credit should go to the bloke who's done the run. I don't know the lad's name. Is it Thompson? I think it's Thompson who scores the second goal. And this is what I want to see from the first team. I want to see the runs that burst. And again, you look at Sean Neve. Sean Neve doesn't run into the box. He doesn't attract players into the box. He stays out of the box, which attracts the centre-half who comes away from that position. And that's clever football. You still have to then move that ball into the right space. And he did a perfect pass. I have no issues with the pass. But, like I said, the way people are writing it up about, I'm expecting something a bit better. Willock's was a much better pass to Isak at the Tottenham game because of the distance that ball had to travel. Yeah, that was a class ball.
That was a proper assist.
Yeah, that was a class ball. But for me, like I said, if you look at the end product there where he goes to square it, if that ball wasn't deflected, I don't think it would have ended up as a goal. And, like I said, I sometimes you have to just dip your hat and say, well done, lads. Because, I think somebody's put into the chat, you've got one, I think it was a 1-4 chance of getting a win. The bookies, Mansfield had got the odds thrown right against them. So
when I saw the fixture, I thought, it's Mansfield under 21s against.
Yeah.
No, it was Mansfield's first team.
Yeah. And that's what I said. You've got to put the context into what it is. The lads did well in that competition. But as you were corrected yesterday by Ian, I think we're still third in the table.
Penalty shootout. That surely that's through.
Yeah. No.
Them are, aren't they?
Yeah, it is, because it's a point for the draw, and then you get an extra point for the win on the penalty. So it just tries to separate the positions in the table. I know it's a strange one, but it does I suppose make it more sensible at the end of the night. There's got to be a winner without collecting the full 3 points. Another transfer news. Richard Masters has come up with something here. Let's have a quick look at this one. Not sure what this is. This has just been sent to me. Premier League chief Richard Masters has said that the clubs are expecting to take the knee ahead of kick-off for the next 2 rounds of fixtures in the fight against racism and discrimination. Again, what has something changed? Because I thought some clubs still take the knee, don't they? I'm not sure whether.
I don't see this.
I mean, to be fair, as much as I think racism shouldn't be in the sport, it shouldn't be anywhere.
No time at all for racism, but taking the knee to me was always synonymous with Black Lives Matter, and I don't think that's the best organisation to be taking lessons from with regard to any fight against racism.
Well, all lives matter. It doesn't matter what colour your skin is. I mean, I worked in an industry where it doesn't matter what colour your skin was. I was there to help support life. So, like I say, yes, your colour of your skin does matter to a degree. Personally, it's like a case of, for me, all of everybody's life matters, dependent on how you live and everything else. Shouldn't
no politics, says the gaffer in the background.
Yeah, shouldn't be anything else. An alternative in the 8th edition of The Athletic, an alternative Premier League table looks at how the 20 teams commit fouls and what exactly they get booked for. I'm not 100% sure on how this works, this table, but at the minute Newcastle sit 5th within this card. I mean,
does that mean we're the 5th dirtiest or the 5th cleanest?
Well, I really don't know, if I'm honest with you. Let's have a quick look to see if this is anything to go by. But like I say, it's an interesting shout, I suppose, when you look at how this table goes. And like I say, we can have a look at it together. If I can just go on there and maybe bring it a little bit bigger. Can you guys see that? Okay. So Fulham are at the top with, I think this must be fouls, goal difference. What is it? For and against goals, points, and 98 fouls committed with 16 yellow cards.
Is it not fouls committed by the team and fouls committed against the team?
I don't know. Like I say, I have no idea how they've worked it, because they haven't really given us any graft. It's from Opta, so it's obviously a reasonable source. But like I say, Newcastle at the minute 6 and 5, because it's obviously.
Well, the fact that they're going from danger colours to nice green colours, would tend to suggest that those at the bottom are the
Man City, Sunderland, and Liverpool are the bottom ones. With less yellow cards. Well, I mean, like you say, you've still got Liverpool with 15 yellow cards and the top one with only 16 yellow cards.
It depends, I suppose, how you're weighting cards with fouls.
I think it's more the fact that the amount of fouls conceded. You know what I mean? I think this is where you've got to start looking. 57 compared to 98 is quite a lot to go by. Click on the relevant column. To sort by points, fouls conceded, or yellow cards, according to the note. So, it's an interesting look, I suppose, when you look at the alternative one with the amount of yellow cards compared to those at the bottom. But I think it's, like I say, it's more fouls committed than anything else. And Newcastle are in the top 5. Happy to be there at the end of the season. I'm sure there'll be a few people that say yes or no. Yeah. So anyway, let's get on with, I suppose, what we come here for. The Brighton, and you want to do your funnies? Is that what you've set up?
Well, that any time you want, really. We'll do the Brighton now, and then we'll take the funnies out. You're wanting to get away early, aren't you?
Well, I mean, like I said, my missus has just come back with one of his prezzies, so I'm happy she's setting that up. So if you want to do your funnies, I'm happy to sit back,
Well,
recline, and relax, and we can have a giggle together.
And we'll have a giggle together, as you say. Let's have a look here. This is Mr. Walter Morder has now moved into his new house. There's Mr. Walter Morder's house with his 18-foot doorway. And if you want to send your loved one a Valentine's card, you know when Shearer used to smash the ball in the back of the net before wheeling away with one hand in the air? I love ye more than that. And a happy birthday. Supporting Newcastle is not really stressful, says Callum, aged 22, from Tyne and Weir.
Have you got that one up on the screen? There you go.
There you go. Supporting Newcastle is not really that stressful, says Callum, aged 22, from Tyne and Weir. There's one of Nick Voltemorder's boots has arrived from Stuttgart. And this is very interesting, this, because there is a Sunderland tattoo. And what have we got on his Sunderland tattoo?
The Tyne Bridge.
The Tyne Bridge. Aha! I hear you say, that's not the Tyne Bridge. It's Monk Wearmouth Bridge beside the Stadium of Light. Well, let's just see if it is. Because there is Monk Wearmouth Bridge. As you can see, top of the arch.
It's still the same tattoo, though, man.
It's a definite join. And if you look at the...
Wait, you've still got the original on.
All right, sorry.
There you go.
There's Monk Wearmouth Bridge. You see the join at the top?
Yeah.
And the pattern, the XI pattern around the girders. There's the Tyne Bridge.
You need to put it on the screen.
With no...
That's it.
No gap at the top, and very much a VMW girder formation. So if we go back to the tattoo, what have we got there? The VMW around the top and no join, folks. So thank you, Sunderland supporter, for getting the Tyne Bridge on your tattoo.
That's hilarious.
And for anybody who didn't see this, this was Chris and I yesterday telling me no politics.
Rubbish! You're the one who's clueless here.
That was kindly sent in by Geordie Dan, who's got a new thing to play with. And this one isn't not on the subject of football, but I just thought it was fantastic. So we'll play this for you.
How many drinks have you had tonight, sir?
7 Guinness, 15 glasses of wine and 11 shots of tequila.
That's a lot, but that's still no excuse why your wife should be driving. Okay, how many drinks have you had tonight, sir?
You said no politics.
and this one is delightful.
That's just a picture of you. That is funny, I must admit.
Wait a minute, why can I not share that tab instead? 2 seconds.
I don't know. Mills Beast has just become a member. Thank you, matey, for coming on board.
Oh, I've stopped sharing, that's why.
Zero Cooler saying slot out. Yeah, you're on the wrong channel, lad.
Where are we?
Are you have you lost it?
I have 2 seconds. That's it.
Don't worry.
Right.
Still not on the screen though, dude.
No.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I've got you now.
There you go. And I just love this.
Brilliant. Love it.
I love that turnaround at the end.
Yeah.
And this is the one that you sent me. This is in a league game, last minute of a league game in India, and the keeper's brought the ball out up to his own halfway line.
Yeah, he's got bored. He said he got bored. It was like such a drab
bored.
game.
Is that there now?
Yeah.
So he has a shot. Oh, hits the ball. But then he has
On the volley. That's some goal, isn't it? That is some goal.
Rahul! Again shot! Again goal! Again goal!
Mental.
Rahul! Again shot! Again goal! Again goal!
I tell you, what makes me laugh is the guy in the commentary. Ooh, Rahul!
Again shot!
Again, son!
Again goal! Again goal to Rahul!
You can turn it off now. I think we've seen it so many times. Right then. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, that is some goal. I've seen it so many times now. It was fantastic. What we should be supposed to concentrating on over this next few minutes. We've done an hour, so we'll do a little bit of the Brighton build up. Are you coming off
I'm
your?
done.
You're
Yeah.
done. Okie doke. What we'll do then is we'll just move that across, and I'm going to add mine onto the screen, and I'll put it because obviously Yanu's been complaining that he can't see my my stuff on the screen, and I apologise if it is small. I don't send it; it's just been sent to me. So when it comes on the screen, but I'll make this one a little bit bigger for you guys. The Brighton team previous was set up with Minte on the left of the team, and you know, people saying I can't understand why he would play on the left hand side when predominantly we see him on the right wing a lot of the time. But against Wolves, I think it was Wolves, the last match they played, because of all the injuries to Mitoma and all that. He was definitely out on that left-hand side with Bruder on the right-hand side. Now, according to the rumours, Gruder is suffering from a knee injury. So it looks like he won't be available to play. So it looks like Minter will go back onto that right-hand side and he'll be up against Dan Burn. Again, people will say, we expect Dan Burn to be beaten anyway, regardless of who plays there. And again, I've rewatched the goal that Minter scored against us, and again, it was just a movement. There's lots of pointing fingers towards other players. We mentioned it the other day when we said, like, you know, two players coming together opens the opportunity for the ball gets played behind Dan Burn. And we know Dan hasn't got that recovery pace. So this was the team, like I say, the Brighton team that was set up. And if you talk about players that are potentially out, we talked about slightly yesterday. Adam Webster, he's out till the new year. Solomon March, he's out till minimum of December. Hinshelwood, again, late November, early December. The two people that potentially could be back and are being currently assessed is Mitoma, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Mitoma, if I'm honest with you, and Joel Veltman, who suffered a calf shin heel injury. Again, they reckon there's going to be they're being assessed 75%, but both of them are currently training, back training with the team, and it will be up to the gaffer to decide whether they play them or not. And again, you know, you were talking about Tony Bloom, and Tony Bloom sat down with the BBC Sussex to discuss the club's recruitment strategy and potential changes to the Premier League financial rules, emphasising a sustainable model for unearthing talent and remaining competitive in the top flight. the club also confirmed fixture adjustments for its December home game, and he goes on to talk about how he is trying to roll out Brighton to become sustainable as a top 10 club in the Premier League, and I think he's doing an amazing job, if I'm honest with you. And like I say, under the first a bit hit and miss over their first 7 games. I mean, 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. Sorry, 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses in their first 7 games. Hursler has expressed satisfaction with his squad's work rate, but acknowledges the need for sharpening the cutting edge in the final third as he goes further and further. And again, they talk about the Azika Gruda, Mitoma, Hinchelwood, as I said, remain on the sidelines as Brighton hope to emerge from the international break unscathed. Hursler confirmed there was no fresh setbacks, but is monitoring their recovery closely to determine whether they can return against Newcastle this weekend. And again, we know
they are definitely our bogey club.
They are definitely, yeah. I mean, like I say,
especially the away game. They haven't lost that in the last 8. That they've played, that we've played them at the Amex.
Well, the last time we beat them was 2016.
We've only won 2 home and away. We've only won 2 out of 16 Premier League games against Brighton. Yeah. And that's a win rate of 13%, which is the lowest against any other side in the Prem, including the top 6 and everything. They've only lost 1 of their last 11 home games, which was Villa last April. All 3 Newcastle Premier League away games this season have finished 0-0. In English Football League history, only one side has ever had their first 4 away league games of a campaign goalless, and that was another black and white side, Notts County.
Notts County, yeah.
Back in 1935-36. So if we get a goalless, a board draw, as you might say, on Saturday, it will create history.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, you look at the Amex Stadium as being a bogey stadium, and it has been for a few years. And we've got Craig Pawson apparently to take charge of this fixture, the only official from Yorkshire appointed to the Premier League this weekend. Brighton have something of a bogey side, as you've said, winning 2 of their last 3 meetings across League and Cup competitions. Newcastle haven't tasted victory at the Amex in 8 attempts, collecting just 5 points in that span. Heading into match day 8, Eddie Howe's side sits 11th, just above the hosts on goal difference alone, setting the stage for a fiercely balanced match. When you look at some of what they're talking points, if you like, if you look at percentage, 42% say that Brighton will win, 25.4% say it's going to be a draw, 32.4% says Newcastle win. Predicted scorelines 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0-2. So it's very heavily favoured towards a Brighton win, if you like, all the top. Apart from the draw seems to be the where the bookies are putting their money. 1-1 is there, and the 2-1 is to Newcastle is the least expected results. But like I say, looking at the games most recently, it seems again, we've hit this point previously. It seems as though we look at a team that has a very similar type of reaction to how Newcastle seem to play against bigger opponents. And they seem to raise the game. The 2 games that they've won is Man City and Chelsea. And it seems as though against the lesser teams, they struggle. Now, do they see Newcastle as a bigger team? Well, obviously, according to history, yes, they do, because they always seem to come on song playing against us. Absolutely. And we often play, for some unknown reason, at the Amex terribly. So potential changes to the system, and let me just have a look at the team that they put out previously was with Minte on the right-hand side, with Matoma on the left, which to me is probably their strongest side. And they had Rutter up front with Ayari, Baliba and Gruder sitting in the midfield. Now, obviously, Gruder's still nursing this knee problem that he picked up in the last game, so they're still unsure of whether he will be fit. And like I say, the rest of it is exactly the same. So the only real change for me is if Mitoma is fit, he will go over to that left-hand side, and that will take Minte up against Dan Burn. Now, I've put down what I believe will be Newcastle's lineup, and again, no surprises, I think, for anybody. Popey in goal, Trippier, Chow, Botman, and Burn at the back. J7, Tonali, Gilmore is in the middle. Langdon and Gordon sitting on the wings, and Voltemada up front. Anything different from you, mate? Apart from
I think it'll just be more of the same. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know whether he might give Murphy another go, but
yeah. I mean, like do you think the upset that Elanga's seen, and again, it's across all the papers, it's across all social media. I don't know. Eddie Howe says he doesn't read social media, but he talks to people that does. I'm sure. Will that have an effect on who gets picked and who doesn't regarding
I
the
don't
mindset?
think so. As long as they haven't come back with any knocks, I don't suppose it'll.
Well, I mean, again, you talk about checking everywhere, and I've looked at all the different lines, even in European games and everything else, and the only thing that seems to come back is the ones that we knew about. Wissa, Livramento, and Hall seem to be the ones, and obviously we know that there was Miley was pulled from the under-21s, but he seems to be okay. Jacob Ramsey, again, question mark, but he's been training. There's been some...
Well, he was in line to be on the bench.
Yeah.
Against Forest, wasn't
Forest,
he? And
that's right, yeah.
ended up not being so.
But apparently...
listen, I think if we play the way we're capable of playing, the one thing we've got to do is finish, shooting. Our shooting is absolutely atrocious. Only Nottingham Forest, with 6.3%, have got a lower shot conversion in the Premier League this season than Newcastle. Newcastle's shot conversion is 7.5%. We've scored 6 goals from 80 shots.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And we're just not getting them on target. I've been argued with for saying in the first 3 games, we lost 7 points because we kind of shoot, and often refuse to shoot. By the way, which is another annoying thing. That the number of times, we saw it against Forest. Bruno finally had a shot from the edge of the box and scored. We've seen it for England with Gordon on whatever day, Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it was. He cut inside and scored. So let's hope that they're all finding their shooting boots and we can convert some of those 80 shots into more than 6 goals.
Yeah.
Because the general build-up play, we're still pressing, in the fits and starts the way we used to. More of the same. As I say, I'm quietly confident for Saturday, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean, there is lots of reports talking about, the travel time. I mean, I've just had it come up on my screen, and I was just reading it while I was looking at other news, and there's reports saying that Eddie's concerned about the amount of travel time that Bruno and J7 have done over the last week.
Well, they had their trips extended, of course, when the
plane had to do a divert.
Had to return to sender.
Yeah, so like I say, there's obviously talk about one or one of them being.
But it
on the
didn't
bench.
seem to affect Bruno in the match against Japan. That was a fabulous assist for the young kid then, wasn't it?
Well, it was, and I mean, you look at Bruno overall, and some of the words that he has put together. I had got it up on the screen, and for whatever reason, it seems to have died a death on that one. So let me just see if I can reconnect with the Chronicle, because there has been a little bit of news come from Bruno. According to, again, this is the Chronicle's version of everything that goes on from the Chronicle. They seem to put a lot in there that when you read the article, there's only like one paragraph that works. I mean, the headline was Bruno fires a scary warning to Newcastle United's Premier League rivals, insisting that the Saudi-backed Magpies are just getting started. You were very, I suppose, well praised towards Bruno when you saw when they were doing the stick or twist, and you said the only person that you would have twisted was for Bruno instead of Tonali, and that was because of the way he seems to have that passion, that heart.
He's my man.
Yeah, he seems to have filled that void for you. Is he in front of Dan Burn now for you regarding the love for the club?
Well, if you've got to say yes straight away, for the simple reason that he's doing it all without any geographical connection at all. And again, people say, you can say anything, it doesn't mean it. I can feel it in me water. He means it. He's fully committed. He's my man.
Yeah, I mean, as much as, like I say, I probably over criticize Bruno for his dives, his falls to the ground in dangerous areas for me on the turn. I think he can cause problems if the referee reads through it. But like I say, stuff that he brings out in the content world, I find it difficult not to praise the lad because, like I say, he says all the right things at the best of times, especially when it's not been going our way. Little bit of news, I suppose we can, talk about before we finish the show. Newcastle United Chiefs have been asked for a figure on how many season tickets there are at St James's Park these days, and this is holders. So holding a season ticket is like being a private and exclusive club these days, and it is a throwback to the entertainers era when many fans were locked out of St James's Park. Long after Kevin Keegan and Sir Bobby days, the failing of Mike Ashley meant that 10,000 season tickets were actually given away in 2019 as the crowds and the interest began to dwindle. And the lack of ambition as substandard performances on the field under Steve Bruce. But these days, they're coming flooding back to St James's in 21 when Ashley sold the club for $305 million. And obviously, Brucey was replaced by Eddie Howe. A scramble for tickets, just like the 90s, has begun once again. And the ticket office has been inundated. Now, you've criticised the ticket office for not answering your calls, mate. It's taking you forever. And obviously, now people are questioning, and I'm one of them, asking, where are all these tickets going to? Is there any availability for the season tickets? Because I'd love one. And obviously, the fans now are starting to question, where are these season tickets, especially the ones now that have been obviously, if you like, taken away because of them selling the tickets. So they're not really answering the question, if I'm honest with you. And
that's what I was waiting for when you said the club have been asked how many there are, and
they're just not answering the question.
Somewhere between 30 and 35 million. 1,000, sorry.
Well, the last time a batch of season tickets were made available to buy was summer 22, when around 1,000 were placed on sale and understandably snapped up straight away, right? Since then, landing a season ticket has been difficult. And again, I sent an email to the club to ask her if there was, and can I be put on a waiting list? And they said there isn't a waiting list. So when these 1,000 seats were sold in 22, and like I say, I must have been in because I made the email. I think it was December. It was either December 21 or January 22 when I sent my email saying I'd love to have a season ticket. What's the chances? And I didn't get a reply whatsoever. And listen, I must have been one of many 1,000. And I understand sometimes when all you're getting is the same answer, same question, it must be an absolute nightmare.
Somebody's got to sit and open all of those.
Exactly. So apparently, and again, I didn't realise this. United have to hold back 5% of matchday tickets to comply with the rule book, with members going to the ballot to grab a seat. So obviously, the 5% is what all of us that are members are scrabbling over when we go to the ballot. So these are the season tickets that have been kept back by the club. The information passed to Chronicle was that the sale of 1,000 seats would take Newcastle's season ticket holder tally to the late 30,000 mark, as you've just said. Since then, some season tickets may not have been renewed, and there have been cancellations confirmed. Newcastle say cancelled season tickets go into the ballot on a game-by-game basis. The statement said last month the club has not received any funds above the face value price of these season tickets and has immediately returned the seats for sale to supporters who have entered the official ballot for upcoming fixtures. What should be clear, though, is that there is no official figure available for the number of season tickets, which is hilarious.
Exactly. Why? Why
would they hold that secret? Yeah, exactly. It's because then the third party sellers, you know what I mean?
If anything, it should be a badge of honour. Look, we've got 35,000 season ticket holders.
Well, I mean, they don't put a ballpoint figure on, but they do say the late 30,000s. So that's
the Chronicle doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just bull, isn't it?
It's just supposition, pure supposition.
Yeah. I find it frustrating as a fan. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
This is why we had the conversation whenever it was this week, certainly, about the the Supporters Trust. And the
you and Chris had one, didn't you?
They've written to the board asking for clarification on this, that, and t'other. They told them nothing.
No.
It's just lip service. So
I just find it frustrating for me, who wants to get to home games. And like I say, there's people local to me, I'm sure, that will want the same. But when you ask a question, what is the chance of getting a season ticket or being put on a list, and not to get a reply, I just found it a little bit like, well, what is the point in sending an email? You know what I mean? Because there is nothing. The problem is with emails, you see, you have got something to back you up. It's credible evidence to say that you've sent me this. You know what I mean? I think that's the reasons why they don't bother with a lot of this stuff, because they don't want to be held at ransom, if you like. So I don't know.
I don't want to be held accountable.
Well, exactly. The problem is like I say, if they are putting, I mean, Yanu's saying 5% is only 2,500 tickets, which makes you wonder, how many of us are in the ballot scrabbling for.
Well, again,
for
the unofficial figure that I've got for normal Premier League match day tickets, there are 3,000 tickets that go into the ballot, is what I was led to believe. Nearest, damn it, 3,000. And that was from conversation. Well, it's from various bits that you pick up here and there, and also a conversation that I had with box office staff. They told me it's about 3,000 go into the ballot, and I don't really know anyone now who's applied for every available ticket in the ballot and who hasn't had a one. Now, I've heard anecdotal evidence of people doing it, but personally, I don't know anybody who's applied for every single ballot and has never had a ticket in the last 2 years. And some have had multiple. Amrit's had multiple tickets.
Yeah, I have as well. If I'm honest,
you know, he's in a friend's batch, and they've regularly had. When I say regularly, not every week or anything like that, but certainly at least once every couple of months they get tickets. But they are applying for every single one.
Didn't somebody put in the chat that they've applied and got nothing all season? Because
all season we've only
I'm on about like last season as well.
Last season.
Yeah, somebody had put in there that because they'd actually put in the amount that they'd gone to and put a red X next to every one. And Kevin Bell is saying that he's entered most, about 75 to 80% of ballots, and I won one. You know, so there is still people out there that are struggling.
Well, yeah, but there you go. He's only entered 75%, 80%, and he's had one. I'm not saying that's acceptable. I'm not saying one way or the other whether that's good. But what I'm saying is that the ballot system does appear to be working. Because bear in mind, there's like some occasions. What was the latest figure for membership? Was 100,000 or something?
100,000. Yeah, it was. That's what they was questioning. Why are you only looking at a 60?
If you just do straight pure statistics, 3,000 out of 100,000, 3,000 tickets, 100,000 applications. That's you've got a 3% chance.
Yeah.
Of getting a ticket. And that's if you apply for every single one.
Yeah, I mean, Yanu's saying 60,000 members. Yeah, that's
right.
You know.
So that's 5% then.
Yeah.
So that would be it'd be a game a season. You know, and I don't know for 19th, 5%, 20th. You if you applied for every one, you'd get one a season.
So, see, for me, the frustrating thing is you can still go on now to these third-party sites and you can still get tickets for every game. So where do these tickets come from?
Well, that's what needs to. And again,
that to me has got to stop.
This conversation. That means someone somewhere is selling a season ticket to a third party. Now, not only is that sort of difficult to do practically in terms of the way you can transfer a season ticket now, but it's all got to be done electronically. Somebody's got to have that code on their phone somewhere to get into the ground. So that has to have been done. So every single... What I would say to everybody in the ground is, if you've got a stranger sitting next to you, report that seat to the club. So that the club can then check that seat, who's got it, and what arrangements they made to get rid of it, and check that all that was kosher. God, I'm not saying for 1 second that everybody that's occasionally sitting in a season ticket seat is getting it by paying over the top, and that the season ticket holders. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, some people are definitely doing that. For there always to be those tickets available. There's a mechanism somewhere being set up to enable that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can't dispute that.
But it's an argument that without having every bit of information, But the club have got all that information, is what I'm saying. They should be able to... The only people that can police it are the club themselves. And they've got to have the will to do it.
No, I agree. I mean, like, you know, when I was questioned at the Tottenham game, it was, well, you're not the one I expected to be here. And it was like, you know, it was, well, I'm sorry, but that's, you know. And when I looked at the ticket, it was a miss somebody, you know. And that's what I said. So that there is tickets still being sold by, you know, by ticket holders, if you like, season ticket holders. So it's certainly something that we need to stamp down on. This gets me concerned now, because, like I say, if we've got 60,000 members, say 35,000 season ticket holders, 60,000 people questioning about getting tickets. And again, you've got to balance it, because, you know, as good as people want to come through the door in the high notes, how many people want to come through the doors in the lower notes, you know? And like I said, are Newcastle always going to be Liverpool, a Man City, you know, and keep hitting those high notes? Well, at this present moment in time, you have to say yes. But are they looking at it from a different perspective? You know, as the owners, are they looking at this as being, you know, something that's got to grow slowly, and it's got to be managed correctly, rather than just going, you know, right up there for the high notes straight away? Are they just growing the club at a rate that is sustainable? Because I think that is probably where they're looking at, isn't it? Rather than just throwing all their eggs in one basket, they're trying to get the commercial side of it right first, and then obviously grow the club retrospectively, as in the stadium and everything else. Is that the reasons why there's been a delay on the club, do you think, on the announcement of the club moving forward? Or is that just red tape that they've got to go through?
I think it's a bit of both. But again, you know, Sapier's just put in the chat there, and I couldn't agree with him more. Why is everything always so cloak and dagger with the club these days? Post-demand that transparency and communication has gone to SH1T.
Yeah, but somebody in the chat has also put, you know, the club have the right to hold back information. They don't have to give you all of the information if they don't want to.
No, but Bogey's hit the nail on the head there as well. And that to me is the simple way to do it.
Yeah.
Easy one to fix. Someone at the club buys all the tickets available on third-party sites and looks into who the season ticket holder is. You know, and if the season ticket holder can't explain, he loses his season ticket. And as soon as you put that threat there, as soon as you say to somebody, if you were discovered to be selling your ticket for a profit, that's it. You lose your season ticket. You forfeit your season ticket. It would sharp stop.
Yeah, I agree. Like I say, something has to happen sooner rather than later. So I'm just having a look to see if there's any more reports being thrown at me. It's only the reports about Bruno and J7. It's what we've just spoke about. And the guys in the chat are absolutely right. You know, it's a case of trying to come to some agreement with the club. But I think there's going to be more frustration. But
the bottom line is, in any situation where demand exceeds supply, it's basic economics. When demand exceeds supply, what happens is the price goes up. And as the price goes up till the two find that level. And this is, you know, whether we like it or not, the bigger clubs that we are now trying to compete with, that's where they are at. Our season ticket prices are, you know, way down the scale in terms of how much we pay to watch our football.
Yeah, talk about funnies. We're going to end it on this one. There you go. We want a refund. This guy is a fraud. Typical Geordies did this to us with Carol as well. Oh dear. There you go. A bit of fun to end the day on.
Well, wait a minute. If you want to earn some fun, because this one tickled me that you sent me. Let me get this one up. We didn't get round to it. Where is it? That's
I was to mention that one as well. Sam Alabi, the lad that I've been mentioning a number of times, it's caught my eye in the academy. Apparently, he's been spotted at Bedden training with the first team. So good luck to him. I hope he goes forward. Oh, this is the one I sent you, wasn't it?
It is.
It's brilliant.
Let's.
You know, we live in the era of the culture wars where everyone's told what to get mad at. And it's like, the media will decide what we'll get mad at, and we'll get mad at it from one side or the other. These are the things we're going to fight over for clicks. And like a lot of people at the minute are getting angry from one side or the other about gender identity without even taking into consideration there is far more to identity than just gender. So when everybody else is fighting over that, I'm not even going to have a word about it. I'm going to go rogue and get mad at these people because of their identity. I know somebody from Newcastle who identifies as a Man United fan. And nobody is buying it. He puts on their clothes and everything. Just use the same anger that they're giving, but put it this direction. He puts on the Man United clothes and then he talks with a Geordie accent. When he goes to the stadium, he wants to use their turnstiles to get in. See, if I had a choice between changing my gender or supporting Man United, I'd be flashing my tits at the Toon game.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. Well, there you go. Happy note on this Thursday afternoon. Thanks to everybody that's watched, as we do, and thanks to this mate for doing all he does in the background. He does a lot of work for the cause, I suppose, and Chris in the background as well does a lot of work. So thank you one and all for all the viewers out there that have been there supporting us as always. Until later on tonight, 9 o'clock, we're on again with any other news that comes our way between now and then. We'll do our best to supply and demand. Bit easier than getting a season ticket, according to
a lot easier than getting a season ticket.
So come on board later on at 9 o'clock.
Come on board. Smash the likes on your way out if you haven't done already.
That'll be great. Thank you, one and all. Like I say, we'll talk about it later.
See you at 9 o'clock. How are the lads?
Lassies and Bairns. Oh, it's a goodbye from him.
And it's a goodbye from him.
Take care, everybody. Have a lovely afternoon.
Bye-bye.